Ladies and gentlemen, William Barr has sent a message to the Washington Post and to the Democratic Party and to corrupt intelligence officials. Barr sends a message: don't ever investigate the president again. By the way, to my new Patreons, Marcus, thank you so very, very, very much. If you support my voice during this tough time for everyone, I am just humbled and greatly, greatly appreciative. William Barr sends a message: don't ever investigate the president again. This is an interesting article the other day. Worse, the Attorney General's matching words with actions. Last year, he ordered an investigation of the Russia investigation run by U.S. Attorney John Durham. The notion, this is from the editorial board, the notion that investigators shouldn't be investigated for political bias, that should tell you where their bias is. The notion, the belief, the premise that any country hacking the DNC, Russia or any country, is national security is absurd. Do you think they would care if Russia hacked the RNC? Do they care about Joe Biden's allegations? No. You can look, do they care about the Steele dossier being compiled allegedly with one Russian intelligence official active? Look it up. There's a Vanity Fair article. They don't care. See, they don't have a set value system. It's not like, well, we would care just as much. We would actually investigate Clinton had she won because the RNC was hacked by China or Russia. And then we found emails that said that they cheated Jeb Bush. Or that the Chinese officials or Russian officials bought Facebook ads that harmed Trump. So we investigated. Do you think that would happen? So it's interesting how the Washington Post, this is the editorial board, in considering why Mr. Barr continues to argue otherwise, it's hard to determine which possibility is worse, that the Attorney General is cynically towing Mr. Trump's line to stay in the president's good graces, or that he really believes the things he says. Yeah, he really believes. This is the Washington Post, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever investigate the president again. And then they go on and say to you, can you believe that William Barr thinks that there was political bias? If you look at the history of the FBI or any of these intelligence agencies, there's always politics and bias. There's always, you could look, John Durham put away FBI officials in Boston for massive corruption, for basically becoming the criminals they were trying to stop. The whole Whitey Bulger saga. The FBI agents in Boston, not all of them, but the ones that John Durham put away or investigated, were just as corrupt as the people they were trying to stop. The Washington Post doesn't have to look far. Okay? The Washington Post pretends they live in this fantasy world. They have to live in a fantasy world because they cannot possibly fathom people who were against President Trump within the government. They don't believe it. They can't believe it. They have to believe that this is just not only above board, but national security. It is not national security. Either political party could get hacked forever by Russia or China or any other country. And that wouldn't be national security because it doesn't affect the lives of the average American. It doesn't affect our standing in the world. It doesn't affect us in any way. What happens with the DNC has zero effect on your life. What happens with the RNC has zero effect on your life. Zero. The fact that we found out that there was corruption in the DNC, that's the issue. Allegedly being hacked, they're only highly to moderately confident. But you don't take that, because these are private entities. The DNC fraud lawsuit waged by Jared Beck, Elizabeth Beck, and Nico House, 3 very courageous people, by the way, who fought back. Unlike Bernie Sanders, who loves to take it. Oh, thank you, man. Have another. Biden, Deborah Wasserman, Hillary Clinton. We know you're going to be nominee, but we have to put up appearances. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. Here, 5 minutes in. I waited 5 minutes. You know this. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. But, ladies and gentlemen, you look, ladies and gentlemen, and they're like, they're looking at everything from the vantage point of how dare you investigate. How dare you investigate Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan? How dare you try to overturn the Mueller investigation or try to tarnish its legacy or try to erase its legacy? By the way, to Alex Christoforou at the Duran, thank you very much for the shout out. Greatly appreciated. He does great work. Alex Christoforou at the Duran. Thank you. They set up and framed Trump with a dossier that was purchased by Clinton. Literally, they literally utilized information derived and purchased, obtained through money by Trump's direct political rival. Notice how they never, ever, ever referred to Hillary Clinton as Trump's direct political rival. But they always say, well, Trump lashing out his political rivals. Whenever he tries to find out why they lashed out and targeted him, they then say he's lashing out. Everything they accuse Trump of doing, they're guilty of. But the way they spin it is, well, we have every right. We have every right to investigate President Trump because the DNC was infiltrated. That helped Trump. So we have to investigate him. And we have George Papadopoulos, who told Alexander Downer something, maybe. Who knows? And that was confirmed by a Maltese professor. How absurd is this? You have an actual FBI informant, William D. Campbell, during the Uranium One deal, crisis, calamity, catastrophe, travesty. These people are like the 1960s Kennedy Cold Warriors, and they preside over the sale of uranium, 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. I don't care. The rebuttal is not that it happened. See, they're guilty of everything they level against Trump, and everything they accuse Trump of doing, they're guilty of. But they have the media, so again, it's like, we can preside over the uranium sale. It's Trump and Facebook ads. Uranium, Facebook ads. Which do you think is, if you were to go back into U.S. history, could you imagine any president before the Berlin Wall falling sanctioning or allowing or failing to veto, let's say? Because even the Snopes article said, well, you know what, Clinton, she had no power to veto the sale. That was never the issue. The issue is that money went from Uranium One officials into the Clinton Foundation. If it was the Trump Foundation and this all went down, my God, they would be rabid frothing at the mouth. They're so petulant against Trump for like made up stuff. Oh, he went after his political opponent. He tried to investigate Biden. He asked someone else to investigate Biden. Do you want foreign help? You're going to ask for foreign help? It's like they have this neuroses pertaining to anyone informing the country of their corruption. But anyway, President Obama, even Snopes says, well, Clinton couldn't stop the deal, but only President Obama could have vetoed the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. Then why didn't he? I thought Putin was so afraid of Democrats. Why didn't he? You have these hilarious, obsessed, like, Russophobes or Russophobes, or whatever. You have these obsessed people. They're like, oh yeah, Putin. The Democrats came in with President Obama and Hillary Clinton's goofy big red button. It was a reset button. They wanted a Russian reset. And there are articles in The Guardian saying that, oh, well, Putin would rather have Obama. He's happy Obama won in 2008 because Bush was more belligerent. It was more hawkish. But the issue here is that you have Peter Strzok saying, we will stop Trump. You have them using a dossier and using gossip pertaining to Alexander Downer and Joseph Mifsud and setting up and framing George Papadopoulos. How come they haven't set up and framed? There's no special counsel for Clinton's email servers with top secret intel, which she now is going to have to be under oath, testify in a deposition eventually. And she'll still be nominee. See, people say, well, how could she do this? It doesn't matter. She doesn't care. Even if she testifies and spills the beans, say, yeah, you know what? I used this server and I knew that I shouldn't have used it, and I did it to hide information because of the Clinton Foundation. And then, oh, by the way, I merged, or I stored and was able to receive top secret and special access program intelligence. I'll tell you exactly how the systems were connected, or exactly how we migrated the data from top secret and SAP locations within the United States government. I'll tell you everything. Even if she were to do that, it would still take a year after the election, or soon after the election at least. But President Trump's going to win. Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee. The whole thing's a charade. This is the biggest charade of all time. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. President Trump's going to win again. I give Clinton 20% chance to win. So she could possibly win if you don't take it seriously. If you think that Clinton's just going to lose, she could win. But it would still be like a year, 6 months, a year after President Trump's election victory. Because this is a long process with John Durham and William Barr. Democrats don't realize that you cannot deceive FISA judges. Inaccuracies, 17 inaccuracies are not inaccuracies. They're deliberately falsified statements. Nobody on the planet believes that Kevin Kleinsmith and other people at the FBI, lower level agents, didn't deliberately falsify the information. Even Democrats know this, but they hide behind plausible deniability. They know the uranium deal is shady. They know Clinton is shady. They don't care. They hide behind plausible deniability. That's their lives. Same with the intelligence chiefs. Well, we were under attack. No, we weren't. The DNC is not us. Don't say we when it's the DNC. You wouldn't say we if it was the RNC. The Russia probe was started as a political ploy and stunt that worked. You had millions of people who were stunned. You had millions of people who wanted political retribution. And they got it. They got it. The Democratic Party underestimated Trump. They actually helped, if you look at the campaign emails, they actually helped elevate President Trump because they didn't think that he could defeat Clinton. And the day before, 3 days before, the New York Times, Nate Cohn said Clinton has a solid electoral college lead. And only I, on the left, when I was on the left, I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post in 2016. And according to the Washington Post, I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters. If I could go back in time and write 100 articles in defense of President Trump, I would. Instead of Bernie Sanders. If you support Bernie Sanders, I don't care. Do what you want on the left. But I'm just looking at it from the outside looking in. Thank God I'm not part of that dysfunctional world. But if I'm just from the outside looking in as somebody who used to be the biggest Bernie booster on the internet, biggest Bernie bro, the most hardcore Bernie bro. If you still support Bernie Sanders after a day after, like, not just credible allegations, a criminal complaint filed in D.C. with D.C. police against Biden, and the fact that Biden stands for nothing Bernie stands for, nothing. Bernie should have endorsed Trump. There's far more of an overlap. Biden would have supported the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He voted for NAFTA. He wants the never-ending wars and conflict. Max Boot, Bill Kristol, Robert Kagan, and Hillary Clinton run foreign policy. Ask the people of Libya who have been suffering from a failed NATO intervention. That failed NATO intervention that destroyed a country is worse than anything that they could say about President Trump. Anything. And then they're calling him a despot and authoritarian. And it's the Democrats who get in bed with Big Brother. I mean, George Orwell warned us about the Democratic Party, not President Trump. Trump is going after Big Brother. So he's going after Big Brother. He's going after James Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan. And the media is saying, oh my God, he's an authoritarian. But these people are not, these people are utilized by despots. These corrupt officials are the type of people who help and who enable the never-ending conflict. The Bush's foreign policy, the failed foreign policy, was predicated upon failed intelligence. When Max Boot and Bill Kristol were writing in favor of Bush's foreign policy, that was predicated on failed intelligence, just like Pearl Harbor, the Bay of Pigs, the Gulf of Tonkin, the George W. Bush's foreign policy. You can go on. There's a lot more than that, but here, and then now Facebook ads and hacking of the DNC, which they're only confident about. So we started a new Cold War, ladies and gentlemen, and Max Boot, Bill Kristol, Bernie Sanders, and Joe Biden are on the same side. If Bernie Sanders was actually legit, he would have joined the Green Party in 2016. He is an actor. He is a lifelong politician who doesn't believe, or he doesn't really want to fight for what he believes in. Now, if Medicare, I don't think Medicare for all is feasible with 320 million Americans. That's a whole other topic. I think it's noble. I don't think it's feasible. But if he really wanted to fight for it and he thought it was feasible, he would join the Green Party, take millions of Democrats with him, and say, okay, I have your party by the you-know-what. You either pass legislation I want, or I'll stay at the Green Party. Very simple. Political leverage. Give me your thoughts below. William Barr is preventing any new investigation into President Trump from here on out. Give me your thoughts. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now if you want to support my voice long term. My Patreon is below. Thank you.